The battlefield, two suns burned above the shattered valley, turning the sky into molten gold and copper. Smoke rolled across the broken ground like dark ocean waves, hiding bodies, metal wrecks, and the last whispers of a war that had gone too far. Corporal Elias Ward dragged his injured leg through the dust, every breath sharp like knives in his lungs. His armor, once shining silver and white, now cracked, blackened, and dripping dried blood, his water pack empty. His comm device dead, his squad gone, and hope nearly dead with them. Humanity had come to this world for resources, for survival, for progress. The Celestine Dominion had fought for honor, land, and the blood oath of their ancestors. Both sides believed they were right. Both sides lost more than they ever expected. Elias stumbled past a broken mech, its metal chest torn open like paper, wires hanging like ripped veins. A human pilot lay inside, eyes still open, face frozen in shock. Elias looked away, pain twisting inside him. "I am sorry," he whispered, but his voice was weak. Almost gone, he kept walking, step after painful step. Then he saw movement in the sand. Very small, almost hidden like a dying flame. He squinted through dust and heat. There, a figure half buried beneath red sand, blue skin shining faintly like moonlight trapped in water. He froze, heart pounding. A Celestine. Not just any Celestine. Her clothes carried silver threads and ancient royal symbols. Her hair long and glowing faintly, like strands of crystal catching sun. Her wound bled radiant sapphire blood, bright as starlight, pooling beneath her like a broken jewel. Princess Arisisthal, heir of the Dominion throne. Elias knew her face, every soldier did. If the Dominion had a star, it was her. If they had a voice, it was hers. And now she lay dying in the dust like any other wounded soul. Protocol screamed inside his head. She was the enemy, helping her was betrayal. If humans found out, he would be executed. If aliens found out, they might torture him for touching her royal blood. But Elias could not move away. He had seen too much death already. Too many bodies left to rot in silence. He did not want to add another life to the sand. Even an enemy life, he crawled closer, pain burning his side. "Hey, can you hear me?" he whispered, voice shaking. Her eyelids fluttered, weak and slow, like she was fighting darkness deeper than death. Her lips moved, no sound at first, then a whisper came, soft and broken like cracked glass. "Human, please." "It hurts," Elias did not think. His heart acted before his brain. He opened his nearly empty med kit, his hands trembling. Human medicine almost never worked on Celestine biology. Different blood, different cells, different life coding. But he remembered something from medical briefings, a myth among soldiers, a rare blood type among humans that could spark alien healing. 1 in 10,000, they said. He had tested positive years ago, laughed it off. Who would ever use human blood for aliens? He never imagined a day like this. Elias swallowed hard, fear like ice in his chest. "If this kills you," he whispered, "I am sorry." He pierced his own arm, pain flaring, red blood rising into the tube. Then he gently pressed the transfusion needle into her vein. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then her entire body shivered, her eyes snapped open, glowing bright silver like living stars. A soft humming sound filled the air, not mechanical but ancient, sacred, alive. Her wound began to close, slowly at first, then faster like light-weaving fabric. She stared at him, breath trembling, voice soft but clear. "You gave blood, you gave essence." "To me?" Elias tried to joke, trying to stay awake. "Yeah, well, I was bored." He forced a weak smile, but his vision blurred. Dizziness crushing him like heavy water. He had lost too much blood, too tired, too broken. He leaned back against a rock, chest rising and falling slowly. The princess touched her chest, feeling new warmth inside her, her voice shaking, not with weakness but emotion. "A sacred bond," she whispered. "A human dared to give life to a royal heir." She looked at him like he was not a stranger, not an enemy, but something impossible. "Elias Ward," she said quietly, reading the name on his armor. "You are chosen now." He blinked, confused, exhausted. "Chosen for what?" Before she answered, a deep, distant roar shook the ground. Engines, fast, angry, coming from the sky. Black Celestine aircraft breaking through clouds. Hunting, scanning, ready to kill anything in their path. Arisisthal's glowing eyes widened. "They come," she said, voice trembling with fear and destiny. "They come for me, and now they come for you." Elias tried to stand, but his body collapsed, too weak. Sand shook under them as ships approached, shadows falling across the desert like giant wings. The princess leaned close, her voice a whisper like wind and gravity and fate. "You gave blood, human," she breathed. "Now you are bound to me forever." And the sky filled with war again. The protector ritual, the sky roared as dark Celestine ships swept over the sand like hungry shadows. Blades of blue light cut through dust, searching, hunting, ready to kill anything that moved. Elias tried to rise, but his body felt heavy, like the desert had swallowed his strength. Blood dripped down his arm, warm and steady, a reminder of what he had given and what he could not take back. Princess Arisithal rose slowly, weak yet glowing. Like starlight brought back from the dead, she placed one hand on her chest, feeling the new energy pulsing inside her, human energy. Her voice whispered in awe, fear, and confusion. "Our lives are tied now." Elias only breathed hard, trying to focus, trying not to pass out completely. "I just did not want you to die," he murmured. She looked down at him, her silver eyes soft but burning with something powerful. "Something ancient on my world," she said quietly, her voice shaking. "To give blood is not healing, and it is promise." She knelt beside him, her hand brushing his face, gentle like a falling feather. "You gave a bond no Celestine would ever break." Elias blinked, dizzy, confused. "I gave you blood, not a marriage contract." But her face did not show humor, only a deep, dangerous truth. "Blood vow," she whispered. "Protector oath, consort oath." His heart stopped for a moment. "Consort like partner." Before she could answer, sand exploded as Celestine royal guards landed in a circle around them, armored in obsidian silver, eyes glowing blue, spears crackling with plasma fire. Their leader stepped forward, helmet unfolding to reveal sharp royal features. General Kyle, the Dominion's most feared warrior, his expression hard as carved stone. When he saw the princess alive, his chest rose in shock, then in relief. "My princess." Arisithal lifted her chin, calm and fierce like a queen reborn. "I live," she said. "Because of him," she pointed to Elias, and the soldiers stared at the wounded human with disbelief, confusion, and sudden fear. They saw the blood tubing on her arm, saw the sealed wound, saw the impossible truth. A murmur rippled through the guards. A soldier whispered, terrified, "Blood union." Another fell to one knee, armor clinking in the sand. General Kale's eyes widened, fury and shock mixing like ice and fire. "Impossible," he hissed. "He is human, the enemy." Eris's voice turned sharp like a blade. "And he saved your future queen." Kyle stared at Elias with hatred so deep it felt like a blade pressing into the air. Then, to Elias's shock, Kyle slowly knelt, head bowed, armor touching sand. "Bloodbound must be honored," he forced out, voice bitter. "By decree of ancient law he is now royal protector." Elias blinked. "I don't even know what that means." Kyle's jaw tightened, rage burning in his eyes. "It means you belong to the throne," he said coldly. "Your life is hers, your death is hers, your loyalty is hers." Elias tried to laugh, but it came out weak, broken. "I did not sign up for this." The princess leaned close, whisper soft. "I did not choose this fate either on this, but fate has chosen us." Her voice cracked. Not weak, but overwhelmed by destiny, duty, and something softer. "I will not let them harm you," she whispered, as if promising the universe itself. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed from above. Human drones, dozens of them, burst through the clouds, weapons glowing red, hunter lights scanning the desert. Elias's exhausted eyes widened, shock slicing through the haze. "Earth forces," he whispered. "They're looking for me." Kale's face twisted with disgust. "Your kind dares enter our skies." The princess raised a hand, stopping him from ordering attack. "If they see me with you," she said to Elias, voice trembling, "they will kill you." Elias nodded slowly, breathing hard. "And if they see me without you, they will kill you." They stared at each other. Human soldier, alien princess, trapped between two armies who wanted them dead. Two worlds ready to burn everything to stop this bond. The moment held weight like a star collapsing. A guard whispered, "Princess, what are your orders?" Eris's eyes did not leave Elias. "We escape," she said, voice trembling with power and fear. Together, Kale looked like the command tasted like poison, but obeyed. He tapped his armor, A hovering transport shimmered into view. Camouflaged in dust, they lifted Elias, his body too weak to stand. Yet he fought to keep his eyes open as they carried him. He whispered to Eris, voice barely alive, "Why save me?" Her answer came soft like a vow wrapped in destiny. "Because you saved me when you had no reason," she said. "That is honor, and honor binds deeper than blood." Engines screamed as human drones spotted movement and locked targets. Lasers charged, air shaking, sand caught in wind like a storm of fire waiting to fall. Eris placed her hand on Elias' chest, her voice steady, unshaken, royal. "Hold on, human," she whispered. "You are mine now, and I will not let the galaxy take you." The transport shot into the sky as both armies opened fire at once, and war followed them like a hungry beast. Two worlds hunt them. The transport sliced through the sky like a silver hawk fleeing fire. Winds screamed around it, storm clouds racing past as if the heavens themselves were chasing. Inside, Elias lay strapped to a medical pod, pale and shaking, one arm wrapped in bandage, the other holding the faint scent of iron and destiny. His heartbeat slowed, each thump heavy like a soldier marching into darkness. He blinked weakly, seeing lights blur, shapes move, armor glint. The hum of alien engines echoed like a heartbeat not his own. Princess Eristhal stood by him, one hand gripping the pod rail, her jaw tight, eyes burning with worry and hidden fear. She could hear every breath he fought to take, every tremble of pain he hid. His blood flowed in her veins now, but his life poured out drop by drop. Kale, the royal general, paced in anger, voice sharp like broken stone. "We should have left him," he hissed. "Human blood is curse, not blessing." Eris turned, her voice steel. "His blood saved me," Kale glared, "and it may doom our empire." Before Eris could speak, an alarm cut the air like a scream. A hologram flashed, showing human fighters closing fast, engines burning bright red, weapons ready. A second alert followed. Celestine war cruisers rising behind them, silver wings spreading across the sky. Two armies, two empires, two worlds, both chasing one small craft, both seeking one man, one princess, one impossible bond. Elias opened his eyes, barely conscious, whispering, "They're hunting us." Eris leaned close, her voice soft and firm. "They hunt me because they fear change." His lips cracked into a weak half-smile. "Or they just really hate paperwork, even dying." He joked, and she hated how much that moved her heart. She touched his cheek gently, her voice trembling despite her strength. "You should not speak, and you shouldn't worry," he whispered. "But we don't get what we want." Kyle slammed his fist into the ship wall. Sparks flying. "They are gaining," he barked. "We cannot outrun both fleets." Eris's eyes sharpened, courage rising like a storm. "We do not run," she said. "We disappear." She reached for a glowing orb at the control console. Ancient technology, old as the first Celestine kings. A hidden jump sphere, forbidden and sacred. Kale's face drained of color. "Princess, that relic is unstable." "We have no choice," she replied. "He will die if we stay." Elias felt the world tilt, vision flickering. "You're risking your throne," he whispered. "For a soldier you met in the sand?" Her voice broke softly. "No, I am risking it for the only soul who chose kindness in a world of war." Before Elias could answer, lightning exploded outside the ship. Human missiles streaked toward their craft. Bright tails screaming through sky. Celestine plasma beams fired from behind, hot blue fire cutting clouds in half. The ship shook violently, metal groaning. Alarms howling, Kale roared, "Brace for impact." Eris slammed her palm onto the ancient orb, whispering an oath in her language. Voice shaking with fate, the world blinked white. Sound vanished, space bent, shattered. Rebuilt itself in one breath when light returned. They floated in silent darkness, among shattered rings of a dead moon, ruins drifting like bones of a forgotten god. No pursuing ships, no alarms. Only eerie stillness and distant stars watching like silent witnesses. Kale exhaled in disbelief. "We escaped. For now." Eris walked back to Elias, her voice soft, almost breaking. "You live, stay with me," she whispered. His eyes closed halfway, breath shallow. "Trying," he murmured. "But your ride is bumpy." She almost smiled, and almost. Then a sudden pulse shot through the ship. Red lights flashing, medical AI spoke, monotone but urgent. "Patient blood loss critical. Life signs unstable. Intervention required." Eris froze. Heart twisting painfully, she turned slowly to Kale. "We need medical help." Kale's eyes hardened. No Celestine healer will touch a human, they would end him. Her voice cracked. Then we take him to neutral ground, Kale stiffened. You mean the sanctuary moon? Cursed place. Eris nodded, determination fierce like a comet cutting the night. Our ancestors made pacts there across species. Across empires, life was sacred, Kale shook his head. Sanctuary is forbidden now, cursed by war and memory. Eris touched Elias's hand gently, feeling its cold tremble. War cursed us, she said, voice sharp with truth. Kindness will save us, Elias whispered, voice weak but steady. You talk like a queen, Eris whispered back. I am learning. The engines turned. Metal humming as the ship set course for a lost moon of peace. But deep in the shadows of space, small lights flickered. Drones. Silent watchers, waiting, sending signals. Both empires now knew. The princess lived. The human lived, the impossible bond lived. And the galaxy prepared to explode. The sanctuary moon. The sanctuary moon rose from the shadows of space like a quiet ghost. Silver craters glowed under starlight. Ruins spread across mountains like ancient scars. No cities, no ships, no guards. Only whispering winds and broken temples touched by time. The transport descended through cold mists. Engines humming low. Elias lay still inside the medical pod, his skin pale. Breath small and fragile like a candle in storm winds. Eris stood beside him, fingers tracing the edge of the pod. Her face calm outside but shaking inside. Kale watched her, eyes dark and unreadable. You risk everything for a human soldier, he said quietly, not angry now, only tired. Confused, Eris did not look at him, her voice soft yet sharp. He risked everything for me first. The ship landed with a soft thud, dust rising around them like silent spirits. Doors opened, cold air rushed in. Whispering secrets older than kingdoms, Elias shivered, his body weak. Pain echoing in every breath, Eris leaned close. You are safe, she whispered. I will not let you go. He tried to smile, but his lips only trembled. Didn't think. Dying counted as safe. A tear rose in her eyes. She wiped it quickly before Kale could see. They carried him out, past fallen statues with wings and halos and long swords, past stone tablets marked in languages forgotten by most living worlds. Whispers danced across the air, soft voices without bodies, memory of peace before war touched stars. Eris knelt beside a broken arch, placing her hand on ancient stone. Blue runes ignited, glowing like waking dreams. This place remembers, she whispered. Our ancestors made oaths here and between species. Her gaze lifted to Elias, fierce and tender. Oaths of life, not war. Kale scanned the ruins, uneasy. They say this moon echoes truth, he muttered. It hears lies and punishes them, Eris answered softly. Then we speak only truth here. Her voice trembled but did not break. I choose him. A shockwave rippled through the stone under their feet, light pulsing like a heartbeat. The sanctuary listened, accepted, and waited. They placed Elias inside an ancient healing circle carved in marble, symbols glowing beneath him. Floating like blue fireflies, strange vines, silver like liquid moonlight slowly rose and wrapped around the pod edges. Not harming, only holding like gentle hands. A voice echoed in the chamber, and not human. Not Celestine, something older, deeper. Blood joined, fate woven. Soul threads entwined. Eris inhaled sharply. Kale stiffened. Elias whispered barely, hearing voices. Always bad sign. Eris placed her hand over his heart, her voice shaking. You will live, she vowed. You must. Kale watched quietly, conflict burning inside him. Finally, he spoke low. Princess. Your duty is to your people, Eris answered softly. My duty is to life. He clenched his fist, unable to argue, not against truth spoken on sacred ground. Suddenly, a sharp pulse shot through Elias's body, his back arching, choked breath escaping. Eris gasped, holding his hand tight. Stay with me. Runes flared brighter, vines glowing like stars, energy flowing from ground into him. He shook, teeth clenched, pain and light mixing until he did not know where he ended and power began. Whispers grew louder, voices ancient, calling him by name he never told them. Elias Ward, bearer of sacrifice, chosen between worlds. His eyes shot open, glowing faint silver like hers. Breath rushed in like new life, his heart beating strong again. He gasped, not weak this time, but shocked, alive, changed. Eris exhaled in relief, tears she did not stop leaving her eyes. He looked at her, breath steady now, eyes bright. What happened? She smiled through tears. Pure, raw, breathtaking. You lived, she whispered, voice trembling with joy and awe. The sanctuary accepted you. Cale stared. Disbelief, fear, respect, all fighting inside him. No human has ever been chosen here, he whispered. Voice hollow, shaken, Elias sat up slowly, touching his chest where energy still hummed inside like new strength waiting. I don't feel dead anymore, he muttered. That's nice. Eris gently cupped his face, her voice soft like dawn wind. You are marked now, she said. You carry ancient bond and protector. Equal sacred, Elias blinked, confused, overwhelmed. Equal to royalty, he whispered, not pride, shock, fear, humility. Cale turned away, jaw tight, eyes burning. This will start a war beyond war, he warned. If Celestine Council learns what happened here, they will not accept it. Eris rose, power radiating from her like starlight cloaked in determination. Then let them try to break what fate has sealed, she said. Her voice was not princess voice, it was queen voice. Destiny voice, storm voice. Elias stood shakily, Eris holding him steady as ancient wind circled them. He whispered. What now? Eris answered without hesitation. Now we face two empires, but somewhere in the shadows of broken stone, a small silver drone blinked red, recording everything, sending signals across stars, carrying one truth that would set galaxies on fire. The princess and the human lived, and they were bound. War was coming, not ending, and destiny was only beginning. The betrayal silence rested over the sanctuary moon like cold mist, but beneath it danger moved like a shadow with teeth. Elias had only walked for a short while, learning his new balance, feeling strange strength in his blood, strength that did not belong to any ordinary human. Eris walked beside him, her hand near his arm, ready to steady him if he faltered, though he no longer stumbled like a dying man. Moonlight touched broken pillars. Wind hummed through crystal ruins that once heard peace vows. But peace never stayed long in a world that worshipped war. Cale walked ahead, face tight. Hands always near his plasma blade, Elias watched him, something uneasy crawling in his chest. He does not like me, Elias whispered. Eris's voice came soft, sad. He fears you. Elias frowned. I'm just a soldier. Eris looked at him like he was more. That was before. Before Elias could answer, a tremor shook the ground, a low rumble spreading like thunder under ancient stone. Cale turned sharply, spear igniting. Something approaches. From the mist rose figures in dark armor. Celestine elite enforcers, silent and deadly, their helmets carved like silver skulls. They stepped forward in perfect formation, weapons glowing with cold blue death. Eris froze, shock filling her eyes. How did they find us? Kyle answered, voice hollow. Truth always echoes. No sanctuary hides fate forever. The lead enforcer lifted his spear, voice amplified and merciless. Princess Arisistal, you have broken royal code. His gaze slid to Elias like looking at dirt. You bonded with a human. You dishonored the throne. Eris stepped in front of Elias. Protective, fierce, queenly. I accepted life over arrogance, she said. I chose honor, the enforcer raised his hand. Then you choose punishment. Eris's guards moved to shield her, but not Kyle. He stood very still, too still. Elias looked at him and felt the truth like a blade sliding cold into his spine. You told them. Elias whispered. Voice low, Cale did not deny it. His eyes were full of sorrow and fire. I serve the throne, he said, not foolish hope. Shock broke through Eris's voice, soft and pained like a cracked heart. Cale. You betrayed me. Cale's voice shook. I saved the Dominion from this mistake. Elias felt fury rise. Not heat, but something quieter and sharper, like a blade inside his veins. He stepped forward despite his weakness. You think love is weakness? Cale's jaw tightened. Yes, when it destroys nations. The enforcers lunged, energy spears flashing. Elias moved instinctively, and his body obeyed faster than thought. He pushed Eris behind a fallen pillar, rolling his plasma-burned stone where she had stood. Eris gasped, not in fear and in astonishment. Elias rose, breath steady, senses sharp, vision clear like every detail carved into light. His voice was calm, deadly calm. You want her, he said. You go through me. The enforcers laughed, sharp. Cruel, certain human bravado, one sneered. Is comedy. Elias didn't wait. He moved, a blur of muscle and instinct. He grabbed the fallen spear of a guard and spun, Energy hissed as the blade cut the air. The first enforcer fell, armor clattering. Shock rippled through the others. Cale stared, unable to hide disbelief. That speed! It is impossible. Eris's eyes widened, not fear but fierce pride. The sanctuary blessed him, she whispered. He carries ancient oath. Elias didn't feel heroic. He felt angry. Tired, done running, done bleeding for wars he didn't choose. He blocked another strike, sparks blinding, then slammed the attacker backward, armor cracking on stone. Pain shot through his arm, but strength burned hotter. Power was not magic, it was desperation given shape. Cale drew his own blade, stepping forward. Stand down. Human, he commanded. You are temporary fire. I am legacy. Elias turned, chest heaving, voice rough like gravel. No, you are fear pretending to be loyalty. Cale struck fast. Deadly. Elias blocked. Barely. Knees shaking with shock. Cale was stronger. Trained for decades, born a warrior. Elias was one soldier, bleeding, exhausted, human, mostly. Cale forced him back step by grinding step. You do not belong in her world, Cale growled. Elias spit blood, eyes burning with stubborn fire. Maybe not, he rasped. But I belong to myself, and I chose to save her. Kyle's blade pierced Elias's side. Deep. Burning, Elias gasped, knees buckling, vision blurring. Eris screamed, voice breaking like glass. Elias! He fell to one knee, blood staining ancient ground once again. Cale raised his weapon for the final strike, face full of duty and tragedy. This ends, he whispered. For our people, Eris moved, but not fast enough. Hope seemed to shatter. Then Elias lifted his head, eyes no longer human brown, but silver fire. His voice rose, not weak, commanding, ancient. Echoing like the moon itself spoke through him. No, he said. This is where your war ends. The ground beneath him pulsed. Runes blazing, air shook like thunder trapped in stone. Eris' breath caught. Kyle froze in shock. Even the enforcers stepped back. Fear breaking their arrogance, Elias stood, bleeding yet unbroken. A man turned symbol, a soldier turned force. A human turned chosen, war trembled, destiny shifted, and the galaxy felt a new king rising. Blood for bloodlight rippled from Elias like waves of silver fire. Ancient runes glowed under his feet. Alive, burning, waiting, Cale staggered back, eyes wide, shaken for the first time in his life. This cannot be, he breathed, voice cracking. No human should hold power of the ancients. Elias stood bleeding. Pale, breath shaky, yet he did not fall. The moon itself seemed to hold him upright, ancient stone humming through his bones. Eris stared at him, tears shining like stars in her eyes. Not from fear, but awe, pride, heartbreak, all twisted together. He is chosen, she whispered, voice trembling. Not by me, by fate, Cale roared in denial, rage rising like wildfire. Fate does not choose outsiders, he snarled, and lunged again, blade aimed for Elias's heart. This time Elias did not block. His body gave out, legs collapsing as strength drained all at once. He hit the stone hard, blood spreading beneath him. Breath a broken whisper. The ancient light flickered, dimming, vanishing, leaving only silence and pain. Cale stood over him, chest heaving, blade trembling as fury warred with doubt. You are not destiny, Cale hissed. You are accident, Eris moved like a storm unleashed. Stepping between them, eyes blazing silver fire. Touch him again, and I will end you, she said. Voice steady as a blade drawn in moonlight. Cale's jaw tightened. You doom us all with this madness. He turned to his guards, voice sharp, desperate. Take her before she binds us to ruin. The guards hesitated, shaken by what they saw, unsure if they challenged a princess or destiny itself. Eris stood tall, unshaken, regal even in heartbreak. No one touches him, she commanded. Elias coughed, blood on his lips, whisper thin. Eris. His voice was weak, fading like wind leaving a dying flame. Her heart broke in her chest. She could not lose him, not after fate tied them, not after he gave life where war only took. She knelt beside him, hands shaking as she lifted his head into her lap. Stay, she whispered, voice trembling. Stay with me, his eyes half opened. Dull but still trying to focus on her face. You saved me, he breathed weakly. Now I ruin your world, she brushed blood from his cheek. Her fingers gentle and shaking. You did not ruin my world, she whispered. You changed it. Cale stepped forward again, rage twisting in his eyes, fear hiding beneath it. If you want him alive, he spat, then bind him and unbind yourself to exile. Shame and rebellion. Eris met his glare, unbroken. Then shame will bow to truth, she said, and rebellion will kneel to honor. Elias coughed, body trembling, vision fading to white and shadow, his hand lifted weakly, trying to reach hers. I don't want you to suffer, he whispered. Voice nearly gone, Eris took his hand, pressing it to her heart. I would rather suffer with honor, she whispered, than live without truth. She looked at him, really looked, as if she saw not a soldier, but the soul inside him. Then she made her choice, the most sacred, most forbidden act of her people. She bit her wrist, silver blood welling like liquid moonlight, and pressed it to his lips. Cale gasped in horror. The royal blood oath, you bind him to your soul, he cried. This ritual is for life mates and eternal guardians. You cannot. Eris's voice rose like sacred song, carrying power, pain, and love. I do, she answered. Blood for blood, life for life, fate for fate. Elias tried to turn away, weak, afraid she would kill herself for him. Don't, he rasped, don't throw your future. Her hand held him still, firm and gentle, voice soft like truth made whisper. You are my future now. She let her blood touch his tongue. Silver light flashed like a star being born. Stone shook beneath them, runes bursting to life, ancient voices chanting like wind through eternity. Elias arched, breath sucked from his lungs. Eyes wide as silver fire blazed from inside. Pain sliced him apart. Then warmth pulled him together anew. Every heartbeat echoed through her chest too. Shared spirit, shared breath, shared destiny. The guards knelt in shock and fear. Cale stumbled back, whispering, Impossible, impossible. But the sanctuary saw truth, and answered with power. When the light faded, Elias lay still, breathing, not weak, but steady, strong, reborn. His eyes opened, silver brighter than before, depth like stars trapped in human soul. Eris's hand still held his, her face pale but proud, determined without regret. You are bound to the crown, Cale whispered, voice hollow, defeated by fate itself. Elias sat up slowly, still touching Eris's hand. No, he said, voice calm, firm, powerful like quiet thunder. I am bound to her, not the throne. Eris smiled through tear, soft, real, full of pain and hope. Cale looked between them. Lost. Warrior who saw future slipping from tradition's grip. You will bring war, Kyle whispered, a war worse than this one. Elias rose, still bleeding slightly, yet standing tall. No, he answered. I will bring choice far above. Space trembled as fleets moved. Human ships, Celestine armadas, both racing toward this moon. The universe was coming for them, but Elias did not tremble now. He held Eris's hand and she held his. Equals by fate and choice, and somewhere in the stars, destiny whispered, let the galaxy come. The war was no longer about species, power, or empire. It was about a soldier who refused to let someone die in the sand, and a princess who chose honor over tradition. And together they were no longer running, they were rising. The judgment of two worlds, the sky above the sanctuary moon cracked open with thunder and fire. Human dreadnoughts tore through space like steel titans, red cannons glowing, shields shimmering like suns trapped in glass. Celestine war cruisers appeared on the opposite horizon. Silver wings spread like holy blades, engines humming with ancient power. Two empires, two armies, both ready to burn a moon for one man and one princess. On the broken altar of forgotten peace, Elias and Eris stood hand in hand. Their blood bond glowed faint silver between their palms, a shimmering thread of fate no weapon could break. Elias's body still ached from wounds and rebirth, but his eyes held quiet fire, calm, steady, unshaken. Eris stood tall with royal grace, her crownless head lifted like a queen of starlight. Cale stood behind them, battle stance ready, torn between duty and awe. This is madness, he whispered. They will kill you both. Elias looked at him, voice calm like steel dipped in cold water. They can try. Suddenly, light streaks fell from human ships, metal shapes slamming into the ground. Human soldiers marched out, pale armor gleaming, rifles humming with lethal silence. At the same time, Celestine paladins descended in halos of sapphire energy, spears raised in ancient honor. The moon trembled under boots, engines, destiny. Human Commander Rylan advanced first, face carved from suspicion and grief. He pointed at Elias, voice sharp as a blade. "You betrayed Earth," he said. "You gave blood to the enemy." Celestine High Chancellor descended from their side, robes flowing like liquid starlight, face cold as frozen moonlight. She pointed at Eris with equal disdain. "You betrayed your throne," she said. "You tied your soul to a lesser being." Elias stepped forward, still holding Eris's hand. "No," he said, voice calm but carrying across stone and silence. "I saved a life." Commander Ryland's jaw clenched. "And endangered millions." Celestine Chancellor hissed. "Your weakness threatens our bloodline." Elias looked between them. Two powers blinded by pride, fear, history. He felt anger rise again. Not rage, but righteous fire. The fire born when humanity refuses to kneel. "I did what soldiers forget in war," he said quietly. "I remembered humanity." Eris lifted her chin, voice clear, royal, unstoppable. "And I did what rulers forget in power. I remembered mercy." The two leaders raised weapons, energy crackling like storm lightning, ready to shatter the world. "Release the bond," they demanded together. Eris's fingers tightened around Elias's hand. Fear flickering only for a breath, she whispered, "If we do nothing, they kill us." Elias whispered back, voice soft, steady, unbreakable. "If we bow, they kill what we are." And so he stepped forward, alone, hand releasing hers for the first time since fate sealed them. Eris gasped softly and not in fear, but in heartbreak and hope. He walked into the space between two armies, his steps slow, wounded, but unshaken, like a man standing in the center of a storm not to fight, but to stop the wind itself. He stood where weapons aimed, where war held breath, humans aimed rifles, aliens raised spears, lasers hummed, power signatures blinked red, one wrong word, and stars would fall. Elias spoke, voice not loud, but strong, raw, pure, the voice of a soldier who saw too much death and refused to add one more body to the dust. "I am not your enemy," he said. "I am not your weapon." His voice deepened, emotion turning into steel. "And I will not apologize for saving someone." Silence rippled, confused, broken, heavy. Commander Ryland shouted, "She is alien royalty. She is threat." Elias shook his head. She was dying. She was just a person bleeding in the sand. The Celestine Chancellor snarled, "He infects our purity." Eris stepped forward now, voice ringing like sacred oath. "No, he reminds us of purity we lost." Elias raised his hand. Unarmed human flesh, no armor, no throne behind him. Only conviction. "If saving someone's life means we are enemies," he said, "then the enemy is not me. The enemy is what war turned you into." Shock moved like wind through both armies. Humans lowered rifles slightly. Celestines shifted uneasily, doubt breaking pride. Elias took a breath, slow, steady, like a soldier preparing not for war, but truth. "If I must die for choosing mercy, then let my death be the last one." The moon went silent. Air stopped moving. Heart stopped beating for one breath, 2, 10. Then, a soft metallic click echoed. A human lieutenant lowered her weapon, whispering, "He saved someone. Isn't that what we're supposed to fight for?" Another soldier lowered his rifle, and another, fear melting into shame, shame melting into clarity. On the Celestine side, a paladin bent one knee, murmuring, "Sacred blood cannot be denied." Ripple by ripple, weapon by weapon, armies lowered their arms. Not by force, not by command, but by truth they could not unhear. Eris stepped beside him, taking his hand again, her voice soft but carrying like prophecy. "Let history say peace began with blood, not spilled, but shared." Commander Rylan exhaled, eyes heavy with understanding. Chancellor bowed her head, ancient pride cracking like old stone, not defeated, transformed. War did not end with surrender. War ended because one soldier and one princess remembered what life was worth. Elias turned to Aris, breath gentle, heartbeat steady with purpose. "We didn't save each other," he whispered. She smiled, small, soft, real. "We saved everyone," she answered. He squeezed her hand, human warmth meeting celestial starlight. "And now," he murmured, "we rebuild." Above them, fleets powered down weapons. Across the stars, peace began with one human choice. Kindness instead of cruelty, courage instead of obedience, love instead of fear. And the galaxy would never forget the moment a soldier stood unarmed before armies and changed the future, not by strength but by heart. Humanity rose not as conquerors, but as the ones who dared to care, and caring changed everything.